Joining me now is Dr. David Brenner. He's a professor of radiation biophysics at Columbia University. Good afternoon, Dr. Brenner.
Good afternoon.
We've heard talk of radiation levels 10 times the norm. Should we be worried about the effect of that on the human body?
Really, at those levels, the risks are going to be very, very small indeed. I think all our concerns are if the dose levels become much higher than that.
So at 10 times the normal level, would that be the equivalent, say, of a chest X-ray?
It would probably be the equivalent of a couple of chest X-rays, so really not a huge issue at this point.
Now, a number of images have been shown of naval officers, sailors, who've been given these potassium iodide tablets. Why would they be given those if this wasn't an issue to worry about?
Well, I can't speak for the US Navy, but the potassium iodine pills are really not going to be very useful at this point. It's not. The only way iodine gets into the body is actually by drinking milk, and I don't think that's going to be an issue here. I think that perhaps being a little overly cautious at this point.
So why do you think that they've been given these pills?
Well, it's a standard treatment. It's in the US stockpile for radiation exposure, so there's no harm involved in them. It's like taking a salt tablet. I don't think it would be doing any good at this point. So
how does the decontamination process work? Just talk us through it.
Well, contamination can actually occur in two ways. There's internal contamination, where you either inhale or breathe in the radioactive material, and there's external contamination, where the radioactive material is on the ground or on your skin or on your clothes. Now, external contamination you can certainly deal with. You can wash, you can change your clothes, you can remove contamination from the ground. Internal contamination is much more difficult to deal with. That's inside your body and very hard to get rid of.
Isn't the singular truth, though, that the real test of any kind of contamination is time? Because it's only in time when people, for example, develop cancers, when their reproductive organs are affected by a contamination.
Well, I think we should probably distinguish here between the contamination that the nuclear workers inside the plant are receiving, and that's very high indeed, and probably they're going to get sick rapidly in the next week or two, and unfortunately there's a possibility of fatalities there. Now, talking about the overall population, indeed, there are not really going to be any early radiation consequences. You're quite right that long-term radiation-induced cancer is really the only major concern here. And even there, we are talking about still very small increases in cancer risk. Our natural cancer risks are very high. 40% of us, 4 out of 10 of us, are going to get cancer anyway. What we're talking about is a very small increase, even in a worst possible scenario.
Dr. Brenner, thank you very much indeed for joining us.